Good afternoon, and I'm Sol Gonzalez from Miami-Dade College, the director of the New Student Center, and I'm here with
Kimberly. My name's Kimberly Nita.
and Kimberly Nita is finishing up her first year of college here at Miami-Dade, and she is also an American Dream scholar. And let's talk a little bit about that opportunity that is unique to Miami-Dade College. We have a scholarship called the American Dream Scholarship, and it's kind of like an American dream come true. It's thanks to the donation of citizens of Dade County, of Miami-Dade County, that we've been able to have a scholarship that covers the in-state portion of tuition for the first 2 years of college. So in essence, a student could earn their associate's degree through this scholarship. And it picks up where other aids leave off. Just a little bit about the American Dream Scholarship and describing how it works. As previously indicated, it only covers the in-state tuition and class fees. For students that are not eligible for in-state tuition, it would still cover the in-state portion, so it's definitely a big help. And again, good for the first 60 college level credits, which is what's needed for an associate in arts degree. There are special fees in programs such as aviation and our culinary arts program that it would not cover. The American Dream Scholarship is applied after all other scholarships, financial aid like the Pell Grant or Florida prepaid plans have been applied. It is not something that's dispersible in cash as some other scholarships are. And the 60 college credits includes courses that a student would have registered and withdrawn, or if they did not pass the class. And it is only applied during the 2 major semesters, which is fall and spring. So let's talk a little bit about the eligibility for the program. This scholarship is specifically for students that are enrolling in college for the first time and are entering college directly from high school. So if you are graduating from high school between May and July of this year, or earned your GED during that time, or are a homeschool student, you could qualify if you meet the other criteria, which includes a weighted high school GPA of a 3.0 or higher, and graduating from a private or public high school, or being homeschooled here in Miami-Dade County. For GED recipients, since you don't have a GPA, the criteria that's used to compensate for that are the test score requirements, the same as the Bright Futures academic scholars. And the same is with the students that are homeschooled that don't have a GPA. They would need to use the requirements for the Bright Futures Florida academic scholars. So I want to ask Kimberly, since she is an American Dream Scholar, what do you think helped you helped you during high school, or what did you do during high school that helped you be prepared in meeting this criteria of being college ready and having a 3.0 GPA or higher?
Well, what helped me was to be dedicated and to have a clear goal in mind of what I wanted to do. Being an American Dream Scholar, you're representing basically your dream of becoming something. So what you need to do is to stay dedicated, which is what I wanted to do in high school. I stayed dedicated, had a clear view of my goal, and just kept my grades up. That helped me get my scholarship.
Great, and Kimberly is a wonderful example of what the American Dream Scholarship is about. Continuing with the requirements for the American Dream Scholarship, you must also reside in Miami-Dade County. You need to make sure that you complete the FAFSA application. And some students may ask, do I need to be eligible? No, you do not, but you do need to take that step of applying. And sometimes it can take a little bit, a few days for it to go from the federal government to enter the Miami-Dade system. So it's very important. Remember to apply early so that you can meet the deadlines, which we'll get into in a little bit. If for some reason you are unable to complete the FAFSA, there is something called an EFC calculator that you will be able to see. Uh, in the FAFSA or our financial aid page, and if you need assistance, we will give you a number for Miami-Dade that we can answer questions or assist you. As the presentation is going on, you are able to submit your questions, and some we will answer as the presentation goes along, and some we will answer at the end. I do see here, let's see, a question from Braulio, and it says, this support of the American Dream Scholarship covers international students? Braulio, that's a very good question. If you are here on it depends on what you mean by an international student. If it's with a student visa, an F1 visa, I would suggest that you ask your international student advisor. I believe it does not, but there are other categories that would qualify. So maybe we'll take that offline a little bit so we can ask you a little bit more questions. Okay, Braulio? Okay, the other requirements include you need to demonstrate that you're college ready based on standardized testing like the SAT or ACT. In the state of Florida, there's a test called the PERT. So if you meet college readiness based on those standards, that's a requirement. You must enroll as a full-time student in college. It's 12 college credits, which generally means 4 classes, and must be registered for your fall semester classes no later than August 11th. You don't want to wait till the end, but no later than August 11th. Kimberly, if you could share with us a little bit about your transition to college, because once you receive the American Dream Scholarship, you also have to maintain it by maintaining a good GPA, not withdrawing excessively from classes. So maybe share a little bit your experience of how it is to transition from high school to college, and what are some of the tips that maybe you would have for the graduating seniors that will be starting college soon.
Well, my transition from high school to college, it is a major transition because now you're in college, you're seeking a degree, you're on your own, and what helps you to get a better perspective of who you are really, you have to stay dedicated and you need to stay focused. That's the only way to, because really when you're getting the American Dream scholarship, you're a scholar within itself. So you need to adhere to that one definition. Stay focused. Keep a clear goal in mind. Keep your grades up by studying. One big tip that I had was to review every single day. Every class that I had, I reviewed whatever I learned that day, and it helped me so when I went back to class the next day, I had fresh material in my mind and I was able to interact. And it makes you a better test taker, because when you're ready for your test, you already know the basics material, so it's just a review for you. So that's another way to keep your grades up, to stay focused, because that transition of not being told when something is due and always, well, you need to do this, you have to do that. In college, you're on your own and you're showing how dedicated you can be, really.
And that's really important, and it's great hearing it from a current student such as yourself who's going through the experience. For students that are still in high school, maybe not the seniors, because obviously by now you have whatever your GPA is going to be. How early should you be planning ahead for college, or what are maybe some of the advice that you would give to freshmen or sophomores in terms of things that maybe they should be thinking about, or activities that they should be involved with?
Well, it's never too early to start thinking about your future. You always can think about your future no matter what level you're in. And the earlier you are, the better it is for you, because that way you can plan out ahead. And different activities that I did in high school that helped me was I danced. And that was my platform. It stabled me and helped me to be a leader, which is another thing you need to be in college. When you're in college, it's not just about taking the classes and doing what you need to do. In order to be an American Dream Scholar, you need to show leadership and show that you're in charge of your own career and your own pathway by being on top of your grades, keeping a high GPA, studying, and being a representative for other students that are going to be in your shoes one day, looking back, trying to see, okay, they did it, I can do it too. So you're kind of showing that representation and that role model for other people as well. So you have to keep that in mind.
And you know, thank you for sharing that. It's true. It's important to start planning early, but it's also never too late. Even if you don't are not eligible for the American Dream Scholarship, once you start college, you will begin your GPA from zero. So you know, keep in mind those tips that Kimberly was sharing. And as you can see, she's been successful because a lot of the statistics say that that first year of college, a lot of times, you know, it's a critical time, because if you make it through your first year and you keep that same, you know, pace and that motivation and determination, you're going to make it. So it is important that you get started on the right foot, that you know, take control, take charge of your future and responsibility. You will have a lot more freedom, but also a lot more responsibility in terms of your own success, going to classes, doing the homework, not waiting to the last minute. If you feel that you need any help, there's a lot of resources for you, labs, tutors, and all of that is for free. It's included within your fees. So there's a lot of support for you in terms of resources and also financial. Okay, just as a reminder, all of the requirements must be met by August 11th of 2014. That means that now, if you have not tested, you should be testing. You should be applying for the FAFSA if you haven't already. You should have applied for college. Hopefully you've all applied, but if you haven't, make sure you submit your applications. If you live in the state of Florida and reside here, checking to see that you qualified for Florida residency, because that'll make a difference in your tuition. And the process in terms is automatic. If you do all of those eligibility requirements, you will be notified. You do not need to do a separate application. So let's see what other questions we may have. We do have a question from another international student asking if they can apply for federal financial aid. You know, because by definition, an international student is here for purposes of studying, and I believe you do need to present a bank letter. So generally, you cannot apply for federal financial aid, but you could probably use the EFC calculator. I'm going to share with you the email where you can send some of these very technical questions in terms of if you are coming to Miami-Dade as an international student, meaning an F1 visa status. And for questions, you can email mdcinfo@mdc.edu, which is on your screen, mdcinfo@mdc.edu. And there's a number which is 305-237-8888, 305-237-8888. Some of the other questions I'm seeing include if I don't have SAT or ACT scores, what can I do in terms of testing? Well, at Miami-Dade College, all of our test centers provide the PERT exam, which is a placement test, reading comprehension, English language skills, and mathematics, which is free of charge. And our testing departments operate on a walk-in basis. And if you go to our Miami-Dade website, you will see the hours, the walk-in hours. You do need to present a official picture ID, like a Florida ID, a driver's license, passport, something with your picture on it. And there are ways that you can prepare. We have resources on our website that give sample questions and ways to review if you want to get familiar with the types of questions or the format of the PERT examination. In terms of how do you apply for FAFSA, you could definitely speak to one of your guidance counselors at your high school or CAP advisor, and many times they do have, as a matter of fact, Miami-Dade has been going out to our high schools doing financial aid marathons, but a lot of times your CAP advisor will assist you, and we do have financial aid workshops at each of the Miami-Dade College campuses where you can come in and with your documents and actually file online, and they will walk you through step by step in terms of how to fill out the FAFSA. So those are steps that you can be taking to make sure that you meet the criteria as soon as possible. Now, while the American Dream Scholarship covers tuition for fall and spring only, if you are graduating from high school and do want to get a head start in college, we do have a summer semester that begins mid-June, which we are registering for now, that you would be eligible for because you would have already graduated from high school. And there may be other sources. You can apply through FAFSA and qualify, or some of the campuses have programs called Jumpstart. At my campus we call it Early Start, but we have Summer Bridge programs that actually is a scholarship program to get you a head start on your summer. So if you are interested in getting a head start in the summer, there are ways for you to get started and get your feet wet in that transition to college. Let's see, do you have any other tips for our students in terms of maybe things that they can be doing now to make sure that they have everything ready to come to college?
What I did to make sure that I was prepared was I actually had a checklist of things that I needed to do. And that also showed me, when I checked off everything, was one more accomplishment closer to my goal of getting my degree. So that's something that I would keep in mind, just so you can also be prepared. It keeps you organized. It's one way that shows that you're organized, which also helps you prepare once you're actually in college, because a big part of college is organization and balancing yourself out. So keeping that checklist of saying, okay, applying to college, then looking for scholarships, getting granted the scholarship, then the next step would be picking the classes, then seeing where it is you want to go. Everybody has their own checklist and one common goal. So keeping a checklist and basically seeing all the different steps you need to do to get into college, and then once you're done with each and every one, you're just one step closer to your goal, and it's one more accomplishment that you need to do. That's what I did.
That's very helpful, and yes, organization is definitely a very important key to success in life, in college, in your career. I know that in this day and age, we all have to multitask so much that I agree. Having to-do lists help me, having my calendar, and and most of us now have the electronic calendars, which is much easier to keep tabs of everything that we have to do. So thank you for sharing sharing that experience with our viewers, with our students. Let's see. Now somebody's asking another good question about does the American Dream Scholarship cover books? No, it does not. It won't cover your books, but it will recover the tuition again at the in-state fee. So that's why we always encourage students to apply to as many scholarships as you think you may qualify for. And a very important piece of advice is you never have to pay an organization or somebody to apply for scholarship, because there are agencies or organizations that for a fee will help you with your financial aid application or do scholarship search. Always use the free search engines. Miami-Dade College, if you go to our website, www.mdc.edu, and click on financial aid, there is a link to scholarships, and there's free search engines there. A lot of private corporations have scholarships in private entities, and some scholarships are sent to the institution, but some of them actually go to you, and that is also going to be an important lesson in balancing, your funds for your education. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you would want to add in terms of balancing, and finding the funding, or balancing, I don't know, the different activities, because I agreed with you that while your primary goal does need to be focusing on academics and going to class and doing your homework, maintaining that balance, getting involved in extracurricular activities, fitness, to stay healthy, and sometimes even working or internships or doing volunteer.
There's different things. Honestly, college is more than just the door-to-door inside a classroom deal. It's what you do outside that really determines your whether you're a scholar, basically. So it's different things, getting involved. I mean, there's more to books. There's, teams and clubs and, jobs and different opportunities that you can do to expose yourself to the various events that happen in your college. For instance, I started working at the college. I was a student assistant in the dean's office, and now I'm a part-time assistant in the dean's office. From there, I got exposure to different things. I mean, helping with the scholarship is one of them. So you expose yourself to different branches that your college has to offer. Joining teams, seeing the clubs that are there, exposure to where you're going to college. I mean, yes, you're getting your education there, but you'd like to know more about what your college consists of on a cultural aspect. To get your name out there in a positive way is never a bad thing. So you always want to keep an open mind, getting yourself out there, staying active. There's many things that are fun that you can do. Sports, teams, clubs, different hobbies that you can do that will benefit you in having fun and looking great when you're going and applying to different places as well.
And that's really important, because sometimes that will also be a way to obtain scholarships, because if you're part of an organization, there are professors who are the faculty advisors to these organizations, and they can get to know you beyond maybe sitting in a classroom, but as you become involved, they become to know you better, and many times those can be the stronger reference letters that you can obtain, whether it's working part-time, as Kimberly does, and gaining some of that work experience. When you graduate, you'll have a little bit of that leg up in terms of not only having the degree, but having some work experience under your belt. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be for pay. If you do, there's many volunteer opportunities, and that will give you, as Kimberly said, exposure to different career fields, or help you maybe confirm your career interest.
Exactly. It's true. That's exactly what happens with the different volunteer experiences that you can do. For me, I volunteered at a hospital, and me volunteering there for the summer helped me realize what it is that I wanted to be involved in for my career, physician assistants. So seeing that and getting that volunteer experience, it shows different, like what you like. You have a feel of what you like to do, and then you might end up finding what you love to do. So volunteering and getting involved is never a bad thing. So I completely agree.
So just to recap, in case someone is joining us now, we have a scholarship unique to Miami-Dade College called the American Dream Scholarship. And we'd like to say that the American Dream can come true. There are opportunities. We want you to seize them. If you have the drive and the desire and the motivation and are willing to put in the work to make your academic dreams come true, there are resources out there. We encourage you to follow your dream, to seek the opportunities, to reach out to Miami-Dade College. There are advisors waiting to speak with you. You have our info line, which is the MDC info at mdc.edu, and there are advisors at our information center waiting to assist you, as well as at our respective campuses and our new student services offices. I want to congratulate you for taking a part in this, because that already shows that you have a leg up. I can really...
Exactly. You're already participating, so it already shows that you're dedicated and you're ready. So just taking that first step and being involved in this just shows the type of student that you're going to be.
Well, thank you, Kimberly, for sharing of yourself, and congratulations on being an excellent student. And we look forward to having you at one of our campuses and following your educational dreams. Thank you for participating, and we look forward to having you ask more questions or come to one of our campuses.